Couldn't find which scene was the right scene. My Hey Toby, how's it going? You like the purple? Yeah, these are purple cables. That was the request. Let's try to get a hint of purple in here. That's what we're doing. We are making purple happen. I don't know. This right? This is right. Pull off. I always bump everything as I'm building off stream, and then I have to come back and redo everything every time I go to stream because it's not really perfect. But how's everybody doing tonight? We've got quite a build here tonight. Probably going to be more of your 3.5 hour, 4 hour stream. That's about our build time tonight. Obviously, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in it. But this one's for Donnie. Thank you, Donnie, for choosing Empower and being patient with me today. Because I did want to try to start the stream earlier for you, but I wasn't able to get it started. Perfect. As an Illusion Pro. I'm doing good, and I hope you're doing good over there too, Toby. So, let's get started here. This, these are, by the way, I can run through these, but these are newer fans by Deepcool. These have less cables to manage in the build, so it'll actually look cleaner on the backside because they'll daisy chain off each other, and then they'll have one wire going out, whereas before you'd have a wire coming off of each individual fan. So these are new fans that I have not built with before, though they are the same performance, same style as the previous Deepcool fans, the CF 120s, but now they're FC. I don't know how they make up their model numbers, but same fan, just a little bit different. We'll see how that goes. That's new. We are going to be building with the Ryzen 7 today, and this is a 5800X processor. So we've got our 8 cores, 16 threads. So it's a beast of a processor already right off the bat, right off the rip. We're going to be building that on our MPG X570S Edge Max Wi-Fi. So this is a renewed or updated version of the Gaming Edge by MSI, but it's got all of the newest features available, including PCIe 4, which is supported by 3rd and 5th generation or 3000 and 5000 series processors. The RAM we're going to be using is of course, my favorite brand, the T-Force Delta by Team Group. These ones just have the addressable RGB. But we've got a total of 32 gigabytes of DDR4 3600 megahertz in here. So each kit here is 16 gigs. You got 8 gigs times 4, which is 32 gigs. And that's the RAM that we're going to be using today on that motherboard. The solid state drive is the SN770, and this is a NVMe Gen 4, 1 terabyte, Western Digital Black. So, again, 4th generation PCIe, great speeds. Actually, I'm going to leave all of this here. The video card we're going to be building with today is the MSI Gaming Trio RTX 3070 Ti. So this one's going to match up with the motherboard very nicely, as well as synchronize with the MSI Mystic lighting software very nicely. And you also have AI cooling with the Tri-Frozr 2 cooler. That's the MSI's cooler name for it. So it's a really nice card. Cooler on there is really nice. It'll keep it cool, and you'll get some really good frames. For example, in Warzone on this card, with the combination of that CPU, should be probably pushing stock settings, no tinkering out of the box, you should probably be pushing around 160 frames per second easily without any troubles on probably high settings in 1080p. 1440p probably like 140 FPS. So really good performance. Out of the box, you're already getting great performance. We could tinker it a little bit and get it a little quicker, or get some more FPS out of it. But overall, it's a great build. We're going to be building this in an O11, Lian Li O11 dynamic case again. I say again because I do a lot of those builds. They're just one of my favorite cases to build in, and provides just an unlimited amount of customizations basically right out of the box. One of my favorite cases. All right. So how's the sound? Am I too loud, or is the music too loud? Do I need to turn that down a little bit, or does it sound good? I never know. This is our MSI MPG X570 motherboard. Very nice. Also includes the back plate on the back, the I/O shield, which I'm just going to peel this off right now so I don't forget. Then we're just going to jump right into slapping the CPU, RAM, and SSD in there and off to the races with the fans in the case. We'll see how many twist ties I have tonight. I think we're going to be probably over 30 twist ties. I feel like tonight's going to be a 30 night. Hey Steve, sounds all good. Thanks, man. How you doing tonight? And Adam from earlier, before I stepped in here, thanks for the like. Yeah, we've got a pretty large lineup of builds actually coming up this weekend. I've got a wedding to go to on Friday, which is strange because I don't think I've been to a wedding on a Friday ever in my life before. But it's Friday evening, and then Saturday, which actually works because it gives me the whole day Saturday to build. And I've got possibly 2 large builds going on Saturday, which I will be streaming at least one of those builds. And it also depends on if the case actually shows up tomorrow like it's supposed to for one of those builds. There's a case that I'm waiting on. It's been slow to get here. There's nothing I could really do about it either. And then randomly I had a graphics card slow to get here. One of the other orders that was actually ordered before this PC, which is a little frustrating because it kind of throws my entire schedule out of whack when things come in late, but it's okay. Working around it. This is our Western Digital Black. This is the SN770 that we're plugging in here. Using PCIe Gen 4, taking advantage of that processor, 5000 series processor, as well as the X570 with PCIe 4 Gen 4 support. I just need a M.2 screw. M.2 screws usually come with your motherboard. Which in this case it did. And we're going to peel this off the keypad here. and slap this heatsink back on top of the SSD. It'll help distribute the heat off of the SSD to help keep that cool. There we have it. SSD and the CPU is installed. We're going to move on to the RAM. We've got 4 of these sticks to install. So all 4 slots are going to be filled. So with 32 gigs of RAM, pretty rare that you're going to go above that, especially for what Donnie's planning to use this for. I didn't see, I could see maybe 64, like a couple of years from now, or so. But by then, I think we're going to be looking at another motherboard, which will probably be DDR5 in that time. So I think this is all the RAM this system will ever use. I like to pair these sticks, so if they come in a dual channel pair, for example, a set of 2, I like to pair them in the same channel. I recommend doing that if you're building your own as well, because if you don't, there could be, I've just seen weird things with RAM, so it's one of those things that I just do, and I've never had a problem by doing it. And it just seems right. So there we go. We got all 4 sticks installed. 32 gigabytes of 3600 megahertz RAM. Ready to go. Looks good. All right, let's get this case popped open. Get the case out here, and then we'll move on to the next step. Sorry if that's in the way. Oh. I'm a dad and I'm above 30, so I have to make grunting noise when I lift heavy things, or not even heavy things. Case does have a little bit of weight to it. That's not bad. I just have to grunt. Old man noises. Okay. Here we have our Lian Li 011 Dynamic. I'm gonna pop the top off. Which will allow me to lift the glass off, as well as the front, so the front and side glass. And also the back panel will lift right off now. Just taking the magnetic nets off here, and then I'm going to unscrew these 2 trays on the bottom, because we're not going to be using these. The fans are going to be going there for intake. They won't be used. They're just SSD trays. We don't use them because we use M.2. We do have a little bit of a bump here on the side of the case on this panel. I should be able to bump that out. That's going to be caused from shipping, which sucks. Although there's no indication that it was damaged. So that could have been manufacturing. Almost good as new. That's just a hard drive cage panel. I've actually never seen one of those bent before. Okay, so now we got the case opened up. Got all the stuff out of there that we needed. We can pretty much just plop this motherboard right in there. We know already that the studs are all there by Leon Lee. That's a bonus. Makes our job easier. But if you don't have the studs in the right places, which is where all the screws are going to screw in for the motherboard, then I'd recommend taking the time, making sure they're all there, and then putting them in. Alright, so I'm just opening up the box of screws here for the case that comes with the case. And we're just going to go ahead and get the screws out and start screwing this motherboard in, mount it. And then we'll move on to the radiator and the case fans next. Gonna be a total of 9 screws here for the motherboard. I didn't see Donnie pop in here yet. I don't know if maybe... Hey TJ, thank you for the like, I appreciate it, bud. Hope you're doing okay. I haven't really talked much the last couple days. We're just building away here tonight. Kiddo next to me is playing Roblox. Thinking of playing some PUBG tonight, though. If we get this done quick enough, might hop on some PUBG. What do you guys think? What games are you planning to play tonight? What are the big plans for the Thirsty Thursday? Not that I'm trying to like compete with the NFL draft that's happening right now, which, by the way, the Detroit Lions, I think the draft pick was okay. What do you guys think about the draft pick so far? Are you happy or no? Do 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 do. All right, so we got the radiator out. We're going to be mounting this on the top of the case. Got plenty of hardware here for this, but overall, we're going to use those new fans that we got for this, which is going to work for us here. I want to check the mounting hardware, make sure I am right. And yes, we're keeping that bracket. But we're going to take care of the fans. We're not going to be using that bracket. So these are the FC120s that I was talking about. These are newer. I've not used these before. So this is going to be new. They're kind of like a design similar to Leon Lee, which is what I like about them. They have the daisy chain style connection, so it's just a single connection going back and forth between the fans, saving you the extra wires. So I'm actually really excited to try these. I may not sound like it, but I am. Speak down. I mean, they're literally the same fan. They're a little bit more square, which I'm okay with. The blades are a little bit different. They are slightly different. Got a different logo. It's their newer Deep Cool logo. But overall, it's the same fan. We are struggling with lining the screw up. Not sure what the deal is there, but okay. And I'll kind of show you how these daisy chain. if anybody does go out and buy these and looks for a reference, I hope they could find this video, even though it's kind of not really intended as like a Keep Cool fan review. Crap, I just dropped that into the fan. But I could use it as a reference maybe. That sucks. Not sure how that happens. But okay though. Moving on. All right. There we have it. We got 3 fans installed on the radiator, which is gonna make it easy here for us to mount it. But I was gonna say, these fans daisy chain. So, believe what we're gonna do is go from the back to the front here in this case. They simply just plug into one another. Kind of like Lian Li, except their connections are direct pins touching one another. So that's not necessarily the same type of connection. But it's very easy to manage. And it will be a single connection coming off the fans rather than 2 cables coming off of every single fan previously. Now you just have this one connection, which will go to probably another wire here in this box that they provided, which will split it off between PWM and addressable RGB. Which is definitely the case. Got a little extension cable if you need it. I'm not sure that we'll need that yet, actually. But they also, which is kind of cool, for the techies out here watching, they also have a power connection added in here so that you're sending power to it. This isn't going to control it, it's just going to allow power. So if you're daisy chaining more than like 6 fans, you're not drawing power all from the addressable RGB header. You're drawing power from the power supply, which actually saves your motherboard. So this is kind of cool. I like this. It is an additional SATA connection off the power supply, but that's not big of a deal. But you have your 5-volt 3-pin addressable RGB connection, you got your PWM connection for your fan speed, and then you have power, so you can plug multiple fans in without having to worry about going over your power usage on that draw on the addressable RGB port. So that's kind of cool. I like that. So I'm kind of a big fan of that. I'm going to put the extension on here because I plan to actually run every single one of these cables into themselves. So I'm going to run this probably down back to the side fans, and then I'll run the side fans to the bottom fans, and then I'll terminate the bottom fans to this bottom addressable RGB port. And then the only thing really going up here is going to be the RGB for the pump, which we could split off down there if we wanted to. But that's the only thing I'm going to change up. Now we just got to get this radiator mounted. I'm going to get it spun around, stand it up, and then feed this cable through the hole that we need it fed through. Previously, I had to deal with all 3 of these fans having cables, the pump having cables, and now I'm only dealing with one single cable off of this set of 3 fans, which, let me tell you, is a lot easier. So much easier. That would have taken me an extra 30 seconds to finagle those screws at least, to get them in. And then I just want to make sure we center this radiator up the best we can here, so it's going to match bottom fans. And then the radiator screws that hold the radiator to the case. Just putting these in here real quick. Then we'll get this flipped over. We'll get the pump mounted to the CPU. Normally I do that later, but I'm starting to kind of do the cooling a little bit backwards, because I think it's more efficient that way. So I don't have to deal with as much cable finagling, we'll call it, if I do it this way. We're just trying new things, and I'm a fan of trying new things, unless it's seafood. Still not a fan of that. There we go. And it's mounted. The fans look pretty badass. Now we just got to deal with the back plate here on the CPU and get the mounting brackets for the pump. Wipe the old CPU thermal paste that's currently on the pump off, because we're not going to use that. We're going to use the Thermal Grizzly. That's all we use. And then we'll get this pump mounted. I'm just putting these studs here into the back plate, which is located on the back of the motherboard here. It does utilize the AMD stock back plate, which is fine. But this is a 360 millimeter. If I didn't announce it earlier, I don't think I did. But it's my standard AIO that I would normally use for these builds, which is the Deepcool 360EX. And this is a 360 millimeter AIO, which is why there's three 120 millimeter fans, and got a dress for large B on the palm. Your standard AIO, which has, in my opinion, a little bit superior performance over some of the others, based off of what I was able to test and do with it. I was just happier with them. They're a lot more consistent, I found, from the manufacturer. I know it's not a Corsair, but honestly, Corsair, you're just paying for the pretty lights and the extra software. And all of that is already included with the motherboard. So, there we have it. Nice and clean, we wiped it off. We're not going to use the stuff that comes with it. We're going to use Thermal Grizzly. But before we do that, I just need to get the brackets mounted to this pump for AM4. That way it fits to the socket. Oh boy, we're failing miserably here, boys. So it's kind of tricky because you got to hold the bracket as you're putting a screw into it. I mean, once you get the one screw on the one side done, it's a lot easier, but it's kind of a pain. I wish they would have used similar to like Corsair style, which it just screws on and slots in. But I mean, it's not terrible. They could have just made it a little bit easier, that's all. It's like they took a little bit of extra engineering. I think the cost savings really isn't there for them to do it this way, I guess is what I'm thinking as a business. I think they spent more money doing it this way than the other. But it's okay. I'm just here for the coolers. Don't really care how they're put together. These ones work good. They have my approval, so yeah. Just if you're building them, like pain in the ass. It's like not enough to really complain about, but I'm complaining about it anyway. Just one of those days. Alright, so we're putting our nice Thermal Grizzly I do like to do an X. If anybody else has a specific pattern that they like to follow, I'm an X man. It's okay though, we'll get through this. Alright. Here we are, in a situation that we need to reach underneath the motherboard and manage the thumb screw. What I'm doing is reaching underneath the motherboard to push up on the back plate on the back of the motherboard so that I can easily access the stud going through the brackets here, so the thumb screw doesn't just thumb nut, it doesn't do what it just did. You have less of a chance of that happening if you're holding it, pushing it up. I was just trying to go too fast. There we go. We've got all of these on here. We're just going to tighten them slowly here. Looks like I went further on this side than I did that. Okay. Here's my, there it is. Gonna tighten this down just a little bit to make sure they're snug. Yeah, that one was loose. And they are pretty snug. So we are good to go here. We've got our pump mounted. And we're off to the races here with the cables real quick. Do a little bit of cable management. We want to get these plugged in and route the cables before we start messing with the fans here on the side. Although it really doesn't interfere too badly. Any. Looking for pump. Oh, right here. Blind. This is going to get shoved, tucked under here. So, but what I'm saying is I have a CPU fan that I have to separate now that I think about it. Derpy derp. So my original plan to daisy chain all these fans is not going to work because I need the CPU fans separated. It's okay. We'll make this work though. I'm just going to need a split. That's all. I got our pump and our CPU fan plugged in. And last thing I want to do is get the splitter up here. We're going to need that for the pump and the top 3 fans. Where's my splitters? Alright. So this is a splitter. Just taking the connection from the motherboard and splitting it into 3, which is what I need for this scenario. So it just plugs in right there. And then we're just going to run it here. Now the difference is we are going to take these cables. We're going to do this corner screw. We're going to snug them under the motherboard so that they're nice and tucked away and hidden. Then I'll probably put a zip tie on it. That should be the majority of the cables coming through here. Well, this looks 1,000 times neater. A lot cleaner. Alright, let's get some of the other cables plugged in. Now we know what we're going to do with those other fans. That means we can move on. I just want to get these plugged in before I start plugging all the rest of the fans in, because it'll make it a little quicker. I just need one of these connections from the other set of 3 fans. Then I can plug it into the bottom here. Just thought of something. Hey, Divinity Sweats. What's up, you absolute sexy beast? I don't know if I'm an absolute sexy beast, but okay. I'm doing good, man. How about yourself? I'm just over here building computers, you know, doing my thing. I've got a pretty big lineup of builds this week coming up. So it's pretty exciting. Weekend, not week. I'm just trying these new fans on this build, and I'm kind of learning as I go with them. Which I just learned something about them. So good. That's what we like to hear. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's been it was slow there for a little while, which, you know, I think it's just the economy and what's happening in the world right now. People aren't really interested in dumping a bunch of money in a computer, which I totally get. Just slow, and then it's starting to pick up again, so it's nice. It's exciting. It's like summer's finally here in Michigan, and business is picking up, which is kind of weird. It's usually the opposite. Vibing and thriving, you already know. Yeah, man. I know you're good. You guys always vibe. It's always a good time with you guys. Need to hang out again. Play some COD. I've been playing PUBG lately, though. The pub called me in, sir. Nothing I could do about it. It called me in. Used to be a super big PUBG player, you know, had the 2.5 KD, which is really good for PUBG. Yeah, and then I stopped playing. And now I went back, and now I'm like barely 1 KD. A little scary. whatever you want, dude. You know we're always around. Yeah, I know you guys know. I've just been like on and off, weird times, and then it's just gonna be like, if I'm playing, it's only gonna be for like half an hour, which is kind of weird for like jumping in and filling a spot. I feel kind of weird doing that for anybody. That's just like life problems right now, I guess. Outside of that, it's been good. Trying to stay busy with work, which I have no problem with doing that. I am staying busy. How are the sweats, man? How's the grinding? The grinding for the skins. You guys getting any new big names yet, or? I was actually hoping to build the Stone Mountains build. The Redneck Engineer got to it first. I was very saddened. Stone Mountain's one of my favorites. I'll get to build this build one day. You mark my words. I'll build this PC. No way he's gonna say no. I'm just kidding. No, the Redneck Engineers are good guy. Build solid builds. Glad he got it. I just need to maybe next year. We'll see. Just on my, it's just one of those things on my bucket list to do. Stones build. I don't know why. I think it's his beard. I'm just like super attracted to Stone Mountain's beard. Sorry, I'm watching my daughter do some weird shit behind me. You can probably see her on the other side, right in this area over here. All right, let's pound these fans out. Pound them out, man. We're gonna do these sides. You just plug all the I/O panel in, which is great. There's not a whole ton of work left here, other than fans. I guess the power cords are gonna be the next big thing. Holy smokes. Plug in. And I'm gonna try to make these fans so that they are with the line ending in on the bottom here, so they can connect to the bottom fans, and then voila, easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's the way we like to do it around here, right? As long as it's the right way and it ends up being easy, easy lemon squeezy, then it's okay. How's that build treating you, man? Everything staying cool, performing good? Still getting those amazing frames, I hope. Want to make sure they're going to fit right. New fans. They fit pretty much the same. This is interesting. Sorry, I'm not saying much. I'm just kind of stoking these fans in a little bit, thinking about them. wanting to see what they look like on this side. Which aren't too bad, given what they're doing. Not too bad. Yeah, they're good. I like them. Get the bottom fans installed. And we're moving on to our cables and getting the GPU installed and all that fun stuff. Totally just ripped my glove. Oh well. Alright, so we want this dude to be on this end. So we need to daisy chain these bad boys in such a way that they are going in that direction. These are going to be intake as well. They're pulling air in from the bottom, pulling air in from the side, exhausting out the top. There's going to be so much intake that your hot air is going to be kind of just pushed right out. And this case has really good pressure too, which means the air is just going to move very well. I've not had a problem with this case before overheating or ever having any major heating issues, unless you are putting this radiator in wrong. That is the only time I've ever really noticed major heating problems with this case, which in this case mounting at the top is probably the safest option. You could definitely mount it on the side and draw intake across it, but then you're expelling all the hot air from the CPU directly into the case, and I'd rather expel it out of the case, especially with a Ryzen 7 5000 series processor. It's going to be hot, so we already know that we want to expel that air instead of holding it in there. Do 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 do. So we're just simply screwing these bottom fans in. Looking pretty badass already though. No graphics card in there yet either. All right. Apparently looking badass here. All right, let's get the graphics card plugged in here, and then we will get the power cables, power supply, and get the fans plugged in. And we're good to go. We're firing it up. Unless there's something I'm missing, which could be. I'm pretty tired. I'm just kidding. That's everything. Building with the 3070 Ti tonight. 3070 Ti. This one's by MSI. Let me show it to you upside down. The MSI Gaming X Trio RTX 3070 Ti. Beautiful card. Very large card as well, so it's going to look really nice in the case and provide some excellent cooling for those long gaming sessions. This thing has a future of. Got a graphics card bracket here. This thing's also a beast, even for a 3070 Ti. But I'd say this one and the EVGA For the Win 3 are probably my two favorite models. Between two. I mean, it's beefy. Gonna go right here. Gonna look big, chunky, and pretty all at the same time. And when we ship this, we're probably gonna pull this one out, simply because of its weight. Damage the board. We'll probably ship it without the card plugged in. It's as simple as plugging it in, just like I'm doing right now, which is sliding it into the slot and then doing installing the two screws here. But I'm not doing the two screws right away because we also have the bracket, which I think I'm gonna just leave uninstalled, but all you would do is take the two screws out here, install the two, and then install the third for the graphics card, and then a fourth for the graphics card. Then you have your bracket installed, and you also have your graphics card installed. For the time being, this is going to be out of the build. We're going to ship it with you, with the card out. And of course, we'll be here to assist with any questions or walk you through it. There we go. Graphics card installed. Now it's time to start doing the cables. We're going with a purple cable today. And we have purple cable cones. two different. One's slightly transparent, one's full fit, kind of a dull purple. I'm gonna go with the dull purple. Well, you know what? No, let's do the transparent. I think that'll look nicer with this build. Yeah, it'll match the fan blades better. It's transparent. Now I'm just doing the cable combs, which is getting the cables lined up into their combs individually. A little bit of work here, but it's well worth it. They look so much nicer with the cable combs. So clean, so much cleaner. Just all around so much better. Sorry, I'm looking down a lot. It's just, these cables are, takes a little bit of focus to just stare at them. Get them right. Just stare at them. Watch what you're doing. Focus. It's easy to mix one up with a bottom or a top wire. I'll show you here in a second. So I'm just simply trying to get these lined up so that we have a nice neat look. But you have to make sure the top one goes in first, the bottom one second, and also that they're the right one for that line. Or it's gonna look funny. We don't want that. We're really doing this to make it look nice, so. And they just pop in, and then we'll adjust it here to our liking, and then we're going to send it through like so, because the backside doesn't really matter too much. You know, we'll make sure it's nice and neat, but then we get it plugged in, and voila. Purple cables with cable combs. Now we're just going to do the CPU here, which we should have two. CPU, GPU, or just one. And again, same thing. Just only 4 cables instead of 24, so it should go a little bit quicker. I'm just going to poke that through a slot here that I needed to go through and plug that in. There we have it, our CPU in the corner that you really can't see right now. Position is plugged in. Excuse me. Next up, we have our two graphics card connections here. These are both 8-pin, is what we call them, PCIe. They simply, same thing. We've got cable combs for these. But we're going to do a few more than we did on the CPU. This is more of the cables showing on the inside of the case, so we want to make sure that this one's nice and neat all the way through. Got it plugged in here, but I'm fighting with the back, so let me get back there and I see. Got it figured out. All good. We got it. And there we have it. So now all we got to do is get the power supply plugged in and plug these fans in on the back side, and we're good to go. But I mean, look at the difference right now between if you've seen me do one before and this one now. Look at how much less cables there are by using these fans compared to those other deep cool fans, the older ones. These are the these are the FC120 fans that I'm using today, compared to the CF120, which has literally 4 times the amount of wires. So this is a lot easier to manage when it comes to your builds. It also reduced my build time almost 1 hour. This build usually takes me about 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Right now, I should be done in the next 20 minutes. So it's at least an hour that it saved me, which is pretty impressive. To say that I like these fans, I still want to see them in action and see how they perform, you know, before I give a final review. But so far, in my book, they're the winners. Like, that was so easy. For the price too, they are relatively close to the same price as the CF120s. not much more expensive. So it just makes sense, you know, to do this. I forgot this one was actually supposed to daisy chain back to the bottom fan here, so I'm gonna have to wiggle my way in there. It's a new fan. I'm learning here. But it's got to go. Let me see if I can get it in here this way without having to go all the way around. Yeah, this is going to work. Just a little bit of a tight squeeze in here. That's all. You can see how much movement the graphics card has if I just simply I'm just barely bumping it with my wrist. Just to give you an idea of what it goes through while you're shipping, which is why we ship them with them unplugged. They bounce around and it just destroys the slot if you don't take them out. We don't want that, obviously. We want a product to arrive safely in new condition. So we'll do what we have to make that happen. Okay. There's one fan that is plugged in. Now we just have to deal with the CPU up here real quick. Or the CPU pump, should I say, which isn't going to take much. Just a simple, quick connection here. Let me throw this real quick for no reason. This is going to connect to this. Which then allows connection to this. Right? Where's the rest of it? Yes. That's it. That's all there is to that portion of it, of the RGB. Now you just have power connections here. 2 SATA, 2 PCIe, 1, whatchamacallit, CPU. Can't think right now. That all just goes right to the power supply here. We're going to unbox and plug in. And it's a modular power supply as well, so it's easy to manage and maintain. There's our 850 watt, 80 plus volt Supernova power supply. Probably one of my favorite brands for power supply, outside of like the Seasonic brand. I like those ones as well, but EV3 is probably the top of the food chain, in my opinion. They just provide a quality power supply every time. I don't think I've ever had one bad out of the box. Or DOA, dead on arrival. Just the quality is there. That's what I like about them most. Is you don't have to deal with BS when something doesn't show up not working. I'm going to plug 2 CPU cables in because I'm planning on running the second one here back to the CPU, or possibly. Just not doing it right now on this connection. And then I'm just looking for single VGA connections here. I don't have the dual pigtail going. I think we only have one of them in this set. Yeah, like we just have the one, which is okay. Then we need a PCIe, SATA connection for the 2 RGB power connections that we need. That's it. We have all the connections that we need here on the power supply ready to go. And now I'm going to mount this power supply fan up here so that it could breathe, because there's a vent right here. I love how my glove is just like totally ripped beyond repair. Just ignore it, pretend it doesn't look ripped for now. I'm pretty much done with this valve anyway, so it's not like the end of the world here for me. Crap. Okay, there we have it. We have this PC pretty much built. I say pretty much because I'm going to go back and clean up some of those cables a little bit before we ship it. We also have to install Windows, do all the drivers updates, and whatnots. So let's get this fired up and see how she looks. Then we have battle tested mode that we have to take it through. Kind of like a test drive. Make sure she's performing where she should be. Which I have no doubt she is going to do everything she's advertised to do. And she's beautiful. I really actually like the purple cables. I didn't know how that was going to look. I've done a purple build in the past. It's been a while. But kind of excited to see what it would look like with just the purple cables and no other purple inside. But definitely turned out pretty cool looking, in my opinion. It looks pretty badass. Alright, I'm gonna kill some of these lights, I think. And full send. Just waiting for a post. It's a holy glove, dude. I know it's been blessed with who knows. We're just firing this bad boy up for the first time. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is, finally. Took its time. I was gonna say I'm not seeing a post. Oh no. Just kidding. There's a post. We got activity on the monitor. But seriously, I just built this build that normally takes me about 3.5 hours and 2 hours, and it's all because of these fans that I used. Not gonna lie, that's gonna save me a ton of time, and that is making my heart melt. Anyway, Donnie, this one was for you. Again, we just have to finish the Windows installation, drivers, Windows updates, and whatnot, if there are any off the image. Then we have the battle tested phase, which we're going to go through. Basically a test drive, make sure it's performing and cooling where it should be. And once all of those steps are completed, like we were talking, we'll probably have this shipped either by the weekend or Monday. Well, probably Monday, because UPS isn't going to be able to pick up until Monday. Because we'll probably have this all done, ready to go Saturday, but UPS won't pick up until Monday, so it'll be on its way on Monday. If everything performs well and passes all its tests, Monday is our target, if you're watching here. But anyway, I'm all set. This thing is built. We're going to move on to the next steps here. Saturday we should have one. I know for sure we'll have one build, but we may have two, depending on if the case shows up now. And it would be a Lian Li 011 Dynamic Evo White build, and then the other one would be, is that an Eclipse Fantex Eclipse case build. So both of them are very different builds, but both of them are great builds. So two awesome builds coming up this weekend. One for sure live stream, and then we've got a few more builds coming up next week. So stay tuned, drop in, throw us a like, share the stream. Everybody that needs a new computer or needs a new gaming PC or needs help with their current gaming PC, who we are, because that's how we grow. All right, thanks guys. Have a good night.